There's been lots of deals so far on this deadline day, and as the 11 p.m. deadline draws nearer, I'm sure there'll be many, many more to come. But first up, we have a SportsByte exclusive where we can confirm that Sunderland have rejected a bid for Phil Bardsley, and we're being told he's going nowhere tonight. Staying with Sunderland, defensive midfielder Liam Bridcut has signed a 3.5-year deal from Brighton. The fee is undisclosed. SportsByte reporter Sam Lytle is with Martin McFadden of the fanzine Love Supreme now to discuss Sunderland's latest transfers.
Okay, here on transfer deadline day, we are joined with ALS editor Martin McFadden. Martin, Sunderland have signed 5 players so far this transfer window. Let's break it down and see who we've signed. Marcos Alonso first through the door. How's he fared so far?
Yeah, I think he's been excellent. You know, the 2 games against Man United, he was arguably our best player. He looks confident in defence. He's quick, he's strong, and he's really good going forward. I think he's like a modern-day fullback, really, which is exactly what we need to fit into this system.
And second through the door was Oscar Ustari. How do you think he's going to fit into Gus Poyet's plans?
This is good because I'm learning how to pronounce all the players' names as we go here. Yeah, I mean, again, he's obviously like looking at a lot of South Americans. We don't know like a great deal about them, but you know, I think he had a lot of these players on his radar at Brighton, and he couldn't get them because in the position they were in. So he's brought him in, and I think they've all got like international experience, and I think he's a good addition to the squad.
And also, you mentioned like former Brighton player, link with Brighton. Sergio Virginia was another player. Do you think maybe there's a risk of, you know, there's a bit of a risk there because we probably are a bigger team than Brighton? Do you think there's a risk with that?
I think he was looking at those players to kind of bring in. He wouldn't have been able to bring them all in, but if Brighton had like won the playoffs, then you know, then he was seeing them as Premiership players. And the style of football that we're playing is certainly like a South American style. So I'm not surprised that he's bringing in, you know, sort of like Hispanic and South American players because that's the system that they're used to. But you do want like some English players to sort of be able to like rough it up a little bit in the English Premiership as well. So hopefully not too many foreign players, but I think, you know, if they're good enough, then they're good enough to play for Sunderland.
Well, sticking with foreign for the time being, Nacho Scocco also signed last night. Where do you think he's going to fit into Sunderland?
Yeah, I think he's going to be sort of like a creative player. I'm always a bit suspicious when people say he can play out wide, he can play up front, he can play in the hole. I think he's kind of like a Stefan Sessegnon type player. Obviously, I haven't seen him play for Sunderland yet because no one has, but looking at his goals on YouTube, he looks capable of like scoring some screamers, you know. And I think like a bit like Barini, he can sort of fit in at any of the attacking positions. And I think we might actually, if we don't see another forward sign, we might actually see him playing in Barini's position and Barini moving up front.
Fair enough. And also Liam Bridcut signed literally just minutes ago. Where do you think he's going to fit into Gus Poyet's plans? Yeah,
well, I think he's going to fit into Lee Cattermole's position. You know, I think he's obviously like Poyet's blue-eyed boy. Probably even as much so as his son, who he will probably sign in the summer, who's at Charlton at the minute. He was his kind of star pupil, wasn't he, at Brighton? And he's got a good pedigree. He was at Chelsea and he was highly rated, but he obviously just wasn't going to get a chance there because a lot of young players just get like sidestepped because they buy like Premiership-ready players, and Chelsea have got some great players. And I think he was Brighton's best player, most important player. And it's arguably the most important position on the field, like sort of in the middle of the engine room. I've spoken to Brighton journalists who say that, you know, you don't necessarily notice him when you see Brighton play, but he is the kind of like cog, like the main sort of driving force behind the team. And I think him and Key will now be running the show for Sunderland.
And with hours remaining of this transfer window, who would you like to see come in? Because Tom Ince looks like he's gone to Palace. Is it Everberg Banega? There's a lot of doubt with him. Who would you like to see?
I think if we can maybe move on Alador and/or Fletcher and bring in like a proven Premiership striker. I mean, I don't want to be too greedy because obviously we've signed a lot more players than I thought we would. But then, you know, we signed 14 players in the summer, and how many of them have made an impact in the last 6 months? So I don't want to kind of like read too much into it, but. Yeah, I'm just pleased that like Ellis Short's seen the progress that Poyet's made since he's at Sunderland, and he's prepared to like back him with bringing in these players. And I think like a lot of them have been like long-term targets of him, and he's done his research. You know, he's obviously very diligent, and he's like a he's a football philosopher like Poyet, as opposed to kind of like a kick and rush type manager, you know. And I do feel that the players that he's brought in, he knows a lot about already. So let's hope they fit straight in.
And there we have it. ALS editor Martin McFadden are here on transfer deadline day.
Going in the opposite direction is central defender Modibo Diakite, who has joined Fiorentina on loan. David Vaughan has extended his loan at Nottingham Forest till the end of the season, whilst David Carlson and Duncan Watmore have been loaned to Scottish sides Kilmarnock and Hibs respectively. Stoke City's assistant manager Mark Bowen has confirmed they are trying to sign Black Cats midfielder Lee Cattermole, with Gus Poyet describing their bid as impressive. Tom Ince could be joining him at the Britannia. Danny Graham is expected to cut short his loan spell at Hull City, with Championship sides Middlesbrough and Nottingham Forest keen on the striker. Staying in the Championship, QPR boss Harry Redknapp has been busy today as always. Kevin Doyle has completed a loan move from Wolves, and defender Aaron Hughes has signed from Fulham on a short-term deal. One player set to leave the Championship is Blackburn defender Scott Dan, who is at Crystal Palace right now discussing a move. Tony Pulis has also signed Jason Punchin permanently, and goalkeeper Wayne Hennessy from Wolves for an undisclosed fee, believed to be around £3 million. Elsewhere, Chelsea have signed French defender Kurt Zouma from Saint Etienne for £12 million. He'll be loaned straight back to his former club as part of the deal. Kim Kellstrom is having a medical at Arsenal's training ground ahead of a proposed loan deal, while across the Thames, Fulham striker Dimitar Berbatov has undergone a medical of his own ahead of a move to Monaco. The Cottagers have replaced him already with Olympiacos striker Kostas Mitroglou, who has signed a 4.5-year deal despite late interest from West Ham. But the Hammers have completed a loan deal for Napoli defender Pablo Armero. And in a day of many loan deals, Tottenham's Lewis Holtby has signed for Fulham. He replaces Adel Tarabt, whose parent club QPR have recalled and immediately loaned to AC Milan. Cardiff have confirmed a double signing from Manchester United, with Wilfried Zaha joining on loan for the rest of the season, and new manager Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has added full-back Fabio for an undisclosed fee. Finally, Southampton's record signing Danny Osvaldo is in Italy ahead of a quick return. A move to Juventus, a £15 million deal will be agreed if the loan move is to be made permanent. The transfers are coming in thick and fast. Make sure you keep up to date with the latest breaking news on our website, sportsbyte.org. I am Mark Jobling. Have a wonderful deadline day.